What's up, my loves, and welcome back to my channel. It's Ash. If you have never seen me before in your life, my name is Ash. Nice to meet you. Welcome to my channel. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back for another video. So today I wanted to do something different. I was super excited for this, okay? So you guys know I live for creepy shit. You guys know that I love scary movies. I love scary stuff. I love anything creepy, weird, whatever. So I was super excited when I was watching YouTube the other day and I came across a video where this chick, her name was Bailey, she did like a makeup and murder mystery or some shit, but I was like, yo, that's dope. I found a story online on a murderer. His name was John List, and so basically I'm gonna talk about him. I'm gonna talk about kind of, you know, my opinions, my feelings about what he did and how he did his family and stuff like that. So based on the title, we're gonna do a makeup and murder video. So yeah, if you guys do like this, then go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you wanna know what's up, go ahead and keep watching. I'm gonna start off with some lip gloss because I just can't today. This is Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme. All of a sudden, big old juicy lips by the end of this video. I'm fucking ridiculous. If you're new here, you better subscribe so that way you become part of the family, alright? We are weird, we are fun, we're creative, we're crazy, we are listening to my son pound on the door. And my brows done, everything, yada yada yada. We're gonna jump right into the story, okay? So the story is about a guy named John List. He is the mass murderer who killed his family so he would see them in heaven. Okay, I'm gonna let you just... When I read that, I was like, excuse me? If you know anything about getting to heaven, it's not by murdering people. So I just... but I'm gonna leave that there. All right, so in 1965, this guy was an accountant. He worked at a bank and he went to church every Sunday, okay? So he was some kind of devout Lutheran and he even taught Sunday school. So those details are kind of what threw me off because I'm just like, okay, for someone who was so close to God or did stuff around him, I don't understand how he just like lost his mind and decided to kill his family. So that kind of, you know, threw me. Well, anyways, the article that I'm reading is from a website called ATI. So I'm going to read you guys the story and we're going to just, okay. So it says mass murderer John shot his wife, his mother, and his 3 children. Oh, those poor babies. Then he made a sandwich, drove to the bank, and disappeared for 18 years. Okay, so that's definitely like an entry. All right, so the story says John List appeared to be the perfect son, husband, and father. He worked hard as an accountant at a nearby bank to provide for his family. The mansion he inhabited with his mother, wife, and 3 children had 19 rooms, including a ballroom, marble fireplaces, and a Tiffany skylight. Alright, so he lived in this big ass mansion with his family. He had his wife, his mom, his 3 kids, a shit ton of rooms for who knows why. I mean, that he probably had to have a lot of money in 1965 because back then, you know, things were a lot different and the money was worth a lot more than it is today. So List and his family were the embodiment of the American dream in 1965. They attended church every Sunday as devout Lutherans, and List taught Sunday school. Everything looked great on the surface, but almost nothing was as it seemed. Oh God. Okay, so in 1971, John List lost his job at the bank at age 46. He couldn't bear to tell his family about the loss of income. So it sounds like he was the money maker and, you know, he was the one taking care of everything. So everyone relied on him and he didn't want to have to go home and face his family and say that we're broke. So he spent his days at the train station reading the newspaper and secretly skimming money from his mother's bank accounts to pay the mortgage. So his mom had the money. Okay. He refused to go on welfare because it would be an excruciating embarrassment in the community and violate the principles of self-sufficiency that he learned from his father. So he has a lot of pride. It's hard to believe that the solution he arrived at would have been more acceptable to his father, but John List would later say that it seemed to him the only option was the murder of his wife, his 3 children, and his mom. How do you just be like, Mom, you know, or just like not say anything, or just like blast your mom, dude? Like, what the that's awful. Oh my gosh. It says they were shot methodically, one by one. Helen, his wife, was first. Liz saw the children off to school and then shot her in the kitchen while she had her morning coffee, just like any other morning. Then he went up to the 3rd floor and murdered his mother in her bed. Okay, so his daughter Patricia, when she came home from school, he shot her. It says he killed Patricia when she returned home from school, then the youngest son, Frederick. He made himself a sandwich, closed out his bank accounts, and cheered for his only surviving son, John, at his high school soccer game. After the game, he gave him a ride home, then shot him in the chest. Why though? John List laid the bodies of his family members on top of sleeping bags in the ballroom, and then he composed a note to his pastor, who he felt would understand. He feared his family, confronted with a world full of evil and poverty, would turn from God. This was the only way to ensure their safe arrival in heaven. Basically, he's saying that if his family had been poor and had to live however they would have been living once everything really fell to shit, he thinks that they would have turned to evil and they would have turned to all kinds of other stuff and then wouldn't have been able to get into heaven. So he killed them. So that way they didn't have a choice. They were murdered, so they're automatically getting sent to heaven. Like, I just don't understand how that makes sense in his mind. Like, Alright, well anyways. Well, he was not, however, willing to suffer the earthly consequences of his actions. In an effort to baffle the police, he cleaned the crime scenes and used scissors to remove his image from every photo in the mansion. My gosh, he for real went through all that just to make sure they wouldn't see him in the pictures. That's, motherfucker. He canceled all deliveries and contacted his children's schools to let their teachers know that the family would be on vacation for a few weeks. He turned on the lights and the radio, leaving religious hymns playing in the house's empty rooms. He slept in the mansion where his family lay dead and then walked out the door the next morning and wasn't seen again for 18 years. 18 years. Oh my gosh. All right, so a month passed before neighbors, curious about the constantly burning lights and empty windows, began to suspect something was wrong at the List mansion. When authorities entered the house on December 7th in 1971, they heard organ music piped through the intercom system. They also found the 5-page note from John explaining that the bloody bodies on the ballroom floor were his family members, killed out of mercy. He had saved the souls of the people that he loved. I just, like, how do you connect that? What? The FBI found his car parked at Kennedy International Airport in New York City, but they never found him, so the trail went cold. Fast forward 18 years later to 1989. Okay, New Jersey prosecutors had come up with a plan. They had an expert forensic artist create a physical bust of him. They did it based off of how he would have aged. Bender, who is the artist, gave him a hawk nose, grizzled eyebrows, and horn-rimmed glasses. Psychologists theorized that List would wear the same spectacles he wore as a younger man to remind him of more successful days. So basically, when he had the money, he was living through the glasses. It was a masterful depiction of John List. So when America's Most Wanted aired the story of the List murderers on May 21st, 1989, an audience of 22 million people saw Frank Bender's sculpture, so tips started pouring in. That's dope. He disappeared, nobody saw him for 18 years. So after 18 years, for whatever reason, somebody wanted to get back into this unsolved mystery of whatever happened to his family. So they hired somebody to create what he would look like today, 18 years later. So after speaking to psychologists, knowing his story and his background as far as how he lost the money, you know, killed his family, and then he disappeared, the psychologists believe that because the money factor was what mainly triggered this, that he was living, you're gonna be wearing his glasses still. So pretty much his face structure and then with the glasses are going to be exactly the same. He's just aged a little bit. Eyebrows are longer, his hair's different, whatever the case may be, but he for the most part is still going to look the same. Okay, so they're saying that they lucked out because as soon as this story aired, they were going to spot him, and somebody did. So it says one tip came from a woman in Richmond, Virginia, who thought her next door neighbor, Robert Clark, bore a striking resemblance to the bust. So the tipster said her neighbor was also an accountant and attended church. He's pretty much moved wherever to a different state, but he's doing the exact same thing. He's not doing anything different, and I think that's where he fucked up. So at his trial in 1990, the defense lawyers argued that John List suffered from PTSD from his military service in World War II in Korea. Expert psychologists believed that he was going through a midlife crisis. So his lawyers are trying to argue that he's having night terrors and horrible flashbacks from when he was in the military. Even if that were to be true, they're all agreeing that that's no reason to kill 5 innocent people. And I completely agree. There's no reason those people should have died. So it says the jury finally found him guilty. A judge sentenced him to 5 life terms in a New Jersey. The jury found List guilty, and a judge sentenced him to 5 life terms in a New Jersey prison. Yes. In an interview with Connie Chung in 2002, List said he didn't kill himself after killing his own family because he felt that would prevent him from getting into heaven. All List wanted was to reunite with his wife, mother, and children in the afterlife, where he believed there would be no pain or suffering. List died in prison in 2008 at age 82. It says the mansion in New Jersey, where John List lived with his family, burned down several months after the murders. Authorities never found the cause of the fire, and a new house was built on the property years later. I mean, I guess it's a bonus because nobody has to live in like the exact same house. I wouldn't want to live in that same house. But yeah, who set the fire? Definitely a great question. The memory of the murder still haunts Westfield residents. In an interview in 2008, parents told a reporter in New Jersey that children will not walk past that property, nor do they even want to live on the same street. Let's get to the discussion part of this. Okay, this freaking guy had a normal life from what it sounds like. It sounds like his life was pretty fucking normal, okay? So, aside of the occasional frustration and, I mean, okay, where do I start? My first issue, why couldn't he just get another job? Like, did he not know how to do anything else? I don't know much about the 60s. My confusion is, why couldn't he get another job? Like, why couldn't he just get another job? Seriously. Why couldn't he try to work at a different bank? Why couldn't he try and get into another profession if he couldn't get a job as a banker? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how you just give up at that point. You know, I understand you don't want to tell your wife, hey, like, you're accustomed to living in this mansion and having all this money and not working and all that stuff, but where, like, I just don't understand how that gets you to, I need to kill them, you know? Like, I'm really trying right now. I'm really trying hard to understand where he went and thought that that was a good idea. And that just hurts my soul that they had to go out like that. What do you guys think? Like, can you believe that? Like, I can't. He was dealing with a lot. There was a lot there. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like maybe there was definitely like some demonic stuff going on. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you just come to that conclusion on your own, if you feel me. That just don't sound right. What tripped me out, I think, was the fact that like it mentioned he was stealing from his mom. Okay, so if he was stealing money from his mom, why couldn't he go to his mom and just be like, hey, I'm in a lot of trouble right now. Like, when I get the money and I'm able to, I'll pay you back, I promise. I guess as a prideful man, he didn't want to ask for help. I get it. But the alternative is not okay. And then you know what else I was thinking about? What about the bitch that he married after he moved out here? It said he came to Colorado. So after he came to Colorado, you know, and he was married to that lady, like, how do you sleep next to someone every night knowing that you murdered your mom? You, like, what did he tell her? You know what I'm saying? Did he say like, oh, my mom died when I was younger, blah, 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 blah. It was like a freak accident, or like, what did he say? You know what I'm saying? Obviously he didn't come out and just be like, oh yeah, I killed my mom. But like, what happened? You know what I mean? How do you sleep next to this freaking lady every night? I'm gonna do my face real quick. It just fucks me up. Like, you know, he went and got into a whole nother relationship. He married a whole nother lady. Like, he's living this whole different life. Like, he's living a whole different life and nobody freaking knows about it. Like, I don't know how. I don't know, dude, but that's just psychotic. Like, to just sleep next to someone every night and then come to find out he murdered his whole family before he met you. Never in your life would you have thought that there was something wrong with him, because he's been fine this whole time. He's been like a normal dude this whole time, and then all of a sudden he's just not who you thought you were. I think that's like the biggest nightmare too. I couldn't imagine. I'm sleeping next to somebody who could have just fucking killed me because he killed everybody else. That's awful. And that is so scary. Like, what the? I don't know. I bet you she didn't trust a whole lot of people after that. I wouldn't. Like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't. What the fuck? Yeah. Or like going out dating and stuff. Hey. So tell me about your last relationship. At the end of the story, like it was saying, is he ended up getting caught, and you know, all the people and stuff that were potentially in danger were no longer. So that's always a bonus. But yeah, so like, let's talk in the comments, you guys. I want to know how you guys feel about this story. So basically what I was getting at is I want to have a discussion in the comments. Like, you guys talk to me, let me know exactly what you're thinking about this. Like, for me, I think it's ridiculous. I don't like the fact that he thought that was the only option. I don't understand how he just kind of like moved on, had a whole new family and everything, or like, you know, got remarried and all that stuff. Like, I just don't like how he did that. That was really fucked up. So I'm glad he got caught. I'm glad that he went to prison. Like, I'm so glad that in this specific case, justice was served, for sure. I want some more engagement, so talk to me inside of that. Let me set my face. If you did like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you need to subscribe for more videos, okay? Let's see what I can find for next week. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But thank you so much for spending time with me today. Love you. Thanks for watching.